Hello everybody, it's Calxiyn here. If you guys enjoyed this video, remember that you guys should become patrons over on Patreon or join our Discord server. Oops. Okay. So today we are basically going to be talking about parallels, which are my favorite things to talk about, as you guys have noticed. So, what I wanted to talk about is in Volume 3, basically, we all know what happened. So, Blake was, getting fucked by Adam, and... Figuratively. And then Yang came in and saved the day, and Yang got hurt. That's basically what happened, right? Yeah. And so now, basically, what I'm saying is that this parallels with what happened to Weiss. Now Weiss is RWBY's partner, and Weiss is also getting hurt. You know what I mean? Like, there's been sort of that, I don't want to say it's a constant parallel, but that parallel that, like, you know, Yang, like, kind of getting in the way and being hurt by Adam, and the same, like, it's kind of like the same thing is happening with Weiss. Like, and the other strong parallel here is, obviously, to how Pyrrha died, because it is Pyrrha's spear that has impaled her, right? Impaled Weiss. And so I just kind of wanted to talk about how they've sort of set up this parallel in the show of, you know, I guess, just almost like a repeat of history. Like, by the time that Yang and Blake heal from what happened, it'll now be Weiss and RWBY that have to suffer through the exact same thing that their relationship did. Blake and Yang's relationship, I should say.
By this math, by Season 6, everyone will have a good lot of PTSD and will be ready to kick some ass.
Yeah. Basically, yeah. And so, that's just kind of what I wanted to talk about. I don't know if it's like, ooh, like, it's not as clear-cut as a parallel to them contrasting Lionheart not being able to be, like, forgiven by Ozpin, and then Ilya being forgiven by Blake. Like, it's not that clear-cut, but I think that it is a nice comparison that we should explore, because I think that by the time we get back, not that everything is gonna be okay with Yang and Blake, but they're definitely going to be in better shape, whereas RWBY and Weiss may now have that strained relationship. And where the parallel ends, I think, is that if Weiss does survive what is currently happening to her, I think that, it kind of, I don't want to say sets the tone. That's not exactly what word I'm looking for. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Sets
like,
a standard?
Not even a standard. It's that they're going in an opposite direction. Blake ran away because, she felt bad about what's happening with Yang, but now RWBY would obviously stay at Weiss's side, right? Because she saw what happened when Blake left Yang, and how that affected their partnership. Because they are, like, partners more than as much as they are teammates, they are also partners. And so that's what I'm kind of talking about, is where the parallel ends is sort of a forked occurrence, let's say, with Blake running away from Yang, but then RWBY staying with Weiss. That's at least what I predict would happen. Anyway, I don't think RWBY would run, because that's just not in her nature. If Weiss runs, that also turns the parallel on its head, because...
like, you left Atlas, you left RWBY, the fuck else you gotta go? Like,
yeah, I guess
where is there?
Because, that's basically exactly what I mean. I think that Weiss and RWBY would stay together while Yang and Blake were torn apart, if that makes sense. And I feel like that's a very interesting parallel to show in the show, because we didn't see, Blake and Yang recovering together from what happened. We saw them recovering separately, and then they'll meet up again, and they're kind of mad at each other that they had to do that separately. Whereas with RWBY, with Weiss, if this does occur, we will be able to see how, like, the team heals and how they heal as partners. You understand what I'm saying, Hunter? Yeah. Like, it goes in a different direction from something we've already seen before. And so even though the parallels to the situation are definitely there, I think it'll be interesting, because the team didn't handle Yang losing her arm. The team didn't handle losing Pyrrha together. And so that's something else I want to talk about, is if Weiss dies, that'll be sort of what I'm talking about, the forked road. Like, before, when there was a tragedy within the team, they didn't deal with it together, they dealt with it apart. And so if Weiss dies, and we have another video about that, if Weiss does die, it'll be them learning how to recover as a team this time instead of them all running away. And I think that's a very interesting concept for them to be able to explore. Either one. Whether it's the team healing together and Weiss healing with them, because Weiss is, obviously she's different than Yang, and that RWBY is different than Blake, and that neither of them will try to run. They'll try to solve things together, because that's just kind of, seems to be in their person at this point. Or, again, if the death does happen and how that will affect the team, because we did see another team sort of heal together, but even then, like, we didn't really see the recovery of Juniper. Like, we didn't see how they've coped with anything. They've just, I don't want to say they've forgotten, but we haven't seen them be real upset about it, you know, because time skips and whatever else. Like, Jean obviously in this episode, and then with Crow, he was very upset, but Ren and Nora haven't opened up about their feelings about it, and so that's another contrast stemming from this parallel, is that we saw, if Weiss dies basically like Pyrrha. Also, with Juniper, where's Pyrrha in the acronym?
She's the P, Juniper.
But where is that? At the end?
JNPR.
Okay, so she's the third one. Alright, my theory got cracked. I was gonna be like, they're in the same, like, all of the second letters will die, because I didn't know where it was. Anyways, you understand what I mean? Is that we will finally get to see a team recover, because we didn't really see Nora and Ren go through grief. We didn't get to see Jean go through grief. I mean, obviously he was still grieving at the time that we saw him, but he was grieving alone, and that's what I'm talking about.
We saw enough of Jean grieving.
I guess so. But you understand what I mean, is that Jean was grieving alone. He wasn't really doing it with his team either, and so if Weiss dies, basically, if Weiss dies or if Weiss lives, this is the show's opportunity to show how a team would deal with tragedy instead of everybody just being by themselves, you know? Mm-hmm. And I think that's really good for the show. I think that's, again, it gives us something new, because if everybody runs away again, how is that any different from what happened before? But if we see how everyone deals with everything together, that's going to be different, and that's going to be interesting for Volume 6 and Volume 7, and however long that sort of lasts. And so, yeah, that's basically kind of all I wanted to talk about. I just think it would be interesting to explore the concept both ways. Again, whether that is Weiss living and how they deal with that. So again, the Yang situation, or Weiss dying, and that's the same as the Pyrrha situation. I think it would also really fuck up RWBY if Weiss died, and Jean, and pretty much everyone, but RWBY and Jean the most, because Jean failed to protect somebody else that he cared about, and RWBY has finally suffered. Not that Penny and Pyrrha weren't her suffering loss, but she wasn't as close with them. Like, Weiss is her partner.
She talked about
Penny, though, yeah, to Ozpin. Or to Oscar, I should say. And so, again, I feel like, yes, that is a good example of her kind of sharing her feelings on that, but Weiss is different, right? Like, I don't know if this is a great example, but it'd be like losing you, Hunter. You know what I mean? Like, imagine if Hunter was just gone, like, one day. You know, Hunter's sick, and so I'm a bit worried for him. But you know what I mean? Like, we're partners.
Also,
like,
when you say sick, it's like I have the flu. You make it sound like I have leukemia.
You know what I mean? And so, like, it's different, okay? Like, if, like, suddenly I disappeared compared to, like, one of your friends that you were close with at school, wouldn't it be a little different? Like, obviously you'd be sad, but you'd be more sad about me, right? That's just what I'm trying to get you to say.
Okay.
I mean, you would be, right?
I mean, yeah, probably.
Okay, I'm glad we established that. I was getting worried there for a second. Anyway, yeah, that's basically all I wanted to talk about. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, remember that we have like so many videos coming out this week. I'm so hyped for the end of the season, and I'm so hyped to see what they do going forward. That's the thing. Because, like, yeah, Weiss is stabbed, but what are they gonna do with that? Like, that is the big question that should be everyone's on. Like, I have gone past grieving Weiss. I'm more interested in what they're gonna do with what they've done. Right? You understand what I mean?
The bed they've made.
Yeah, like, I want to see, like, oh, if Weiss dies, I want to see what they do, because, like, if she's dead, it's too late now. Like, okay, I was sad for a little bit. I mean, if she actually dies, I think I'll eat my words.
If Weiss
you know what I mean?
Weiss is
because right now I'm kind of in denial.
No, if she dies, I'll be very upset.
I know, because, like, when I was watching it, I was just, like, I was shocked but not surprised, right? And so, like, I feel like if she actually dies and we have a death scene, that I will be broken up into tears, and like, you guys will be like, but Cal, I thought you were past her dying already, you. No, I wasn't. Like, I'm full of shit. I'm not. I lied.
I'm
yeah,
a
that's...
goddamn liar.
Yeah, that's pretty much basically it. Is that, like, it doesn't feel real right now because we don't know what happened, right? And so it's easy for me to sit here and be like, oh, I'm past her death, everyone. Like, I'm fine. Like, no, bitch, we're not. So anyway, again, we'll see you later. Patreon, Discord server. You guys know all about that stuff already. And, yeah, guys. Bye.